Howdy y'all, duelist! That's what we could have had instead of What's Good YouTube for every single video if we'd gone down another path. We were talking about with DZ Fencimo over here. But today we got a market watch for you guys before we head back out to YCS Dallas. And first thing I want to note, you have a very limited time deal to get a 5% kickback on all Yu-Gi-Oh! Singles on TCGPlayer. So if you're buying on TCGPlayer, you can take a bit off of the price there. But there's a odd kickback to this kickback, and that's that almost everything on TCGPlayer is more expensive right now, maybe because people have been using this deal all weekend and buying the sellers out of the cards that they wanted. So that might be why they're up on TCGPlayer, although we do see a common theme with that happening on TCGPlayer over and over again. The first thing to note is Solemn Strike seems to be back up. It seems like a lot of Spyral players are choosing to side this card, and it seems pretty decent against Spirals in general. I could see why. It was all the way down to $450 on TCGPlayer, and now it's $580. You can still get it cheaper on eBay, even past that 5%. $485 over here on eBay. This man's has sold 698 Solemn Strikes. That's a lot of Solemn Strikes, Duggo.
Oh, he sold 18 since we started this video.
You're not wrong. That's actually insane. And 160 over here by the next lowest at 490 before it's 5. It actually takes a pretty long time to get up past the price of TCGPlayer. So it just seems like maybe people were already taking advantage of that 5% off all weekend, and that's why it's risen to this price, because we just showed Solemn Strike on a rather recent market watch, and it was down there. What do you think about Solemn Strike, Simo?
You sided going first in the mirror and you win.
Well, there you have it. So moving on, we have these Spyral cards themselves. Double Helix is actually up on TCGPlayer. I have to assume because of the sale, because it's actually down on eBay. It was 33 before the YCS, and you can actually get them a little under 32 at 31.69, 31.85, 31.94. So like down not too much, but I just found it interesting that it's actually up on TCGPlayer 35. So like it goes up $1.50 one way, down the other. This just screams that it had to be that sale to me rather than like the actual site traffic or what was going on, probably because of that 5% off. We actually see Spyral Super Agents stayed at exactly the same place, so it kind of doesn't make too much sense, other than people could have already had their agents being ready for the format, and now they're seeing the dominance at YCS Dallas and going for the Double Helix itself. And of course you need at least 2 of these, I would say. I would definitely be playing 2 to 3 of these if you're playing Spirals.
Yeah, if you're playing one, you're losing.
Yeah, I would definitely say that. And another interesting thing to me is Quick Fix is actually just continually going down for the Super. I feel like people aren't hollowing out this deck as much because they're seeing how powerful it is and kind of already anticipating it getting hit in one way or another. I would figure Quick Fix at this point would be a $10 Super, yet people are just kind of avoiding hollowing out their deck here like the plague. It's not even one of the most expensive decks of Yu-Gi-Oh! History for especially a tier 0 deck. It's relatively cheap compared to a lot of the dominant decks we've had in the past. So really odd to me, because Quick Fix was actually up there on the initial spikes and buyouts, and it's just been chilling out here. And I think that's fine. There's quite a few listings actually at 37 over here, so I could see that. But the rare drones are at 255, so like half the price of a hollowed out version of their card. And the rare Quick Fix is sitting at $1, probably because that Super exists. Now, we go to evenly matched, and we wanted to talk about how crazy it was in the room at YCS Dallas for these. There were people buying these and trading for them at 90 in the room before the event started. You always want to be prepared and have cards, but this weekend was especially rough because it's opening weekend for the set. It's the first like actual day shops can sell it outside of sneak peek packs. So a lot of people came evenly matched, and a lot of people were anticipating just, well, if I go second, I just enter the battle phase, and I'm going to activate this card and win. I'm going to then build my board workshop on you after getting to take care of all of the problems you could present. And I think that's a somewhat viable strategy, but there are already counters, and I wouldn't have known this one without Simo. Set rotation. Before they tried it in their battle phase, you just activate it, you give them a card, and they can't activate that evenly matched from the hand anymore because they have a field spell on the board. I found that super interesting and really cool. And set rotation's actually creeping up on its market price. It's at $2 on both platforms before this playset sells out. Somebody just listed them at $1.10 for one playset, but once that's gone, every single copy is $2 or more for the most part, with $1.99 on eBay as well, and only 28 copies on eBay. But we have quite a few more sellers, 35 total sellers on TCGPlayer, but it goes up relatively fast. So if this is something you're considering to counter evenly matched or have that you don't already have, you need to have this in your arsenal now, especially if you're playing field spells. If your deck plays some kind of field spell, such as Spirals, such as Invoked, such as ABC, many of the meta decks, you definitely want to have access to this along with your terraformings, or perhaps even be prioritizing this over terraforming, because evenly matched is a card now. But evenly matched is going down online despite being so hyped at an event with over 1,000 people. It's like word didn't spread out of that room. It was just hype located in the room, and it's gone down online. And we see it at 57, 57, 57. The card does have its problems. It has more counters than people gave it credit for, but it's still the chase card of the set, an amazing card, and that's why so many people were willing to really gouge their pockets. See, they're already paying airfare, they're out here, they're gonna play the deck they want to play. A card I heavily underestimated coming into this format is Firewall Dragon, which is keeping price at 24. I was surprised at the price at first, but once I saw it in action, just going in on Spirals and with Spirals, it deserves it in full. There's a reason George Machete took this over the giant Akshik Magician. It is an insane card.
Yeah, I only hope we can get a video explaining why it's good or how good it is.
Yeah, for like 10 minutes. Or more.
I can make that happen.
Akshik Magician is actually down to the Yu-Gi-Oh! Singles price about now at 14. It started out 20 on the market. Still an amazing card, but it just feels like it's not its time yet. We need more cards such as the Jax Knight that are going to abuse this and hype it up. It's an amazing card. As it falls down, I would highly consider getting yours, especially if it dips below 10. Like, I already would be getting it at 14. Like, that's a great price for her, but I think she will actually continue to go down until her time is here. So just be watching the price of Akshik Magician and consider when to get yours. I said it's much like Tornado Dragon, where you're probably only playing 1 to 2 in the average deck, but there will be some decks abusing the living heck out of her. But she realistically needs to be in the extra monster zone to get her full viable effect. So realistically, your combos will usually use one of her. And so with that Tornado Dragon-like effect, she's probably going to hover the $10 mark eventually, I would think. And the final card here today on Market Watch, which is completely insane to me, is that Firewall throughout the entire weekend has sat at $50 still. I expected some kind of cool off. Usually during the weekend, things that aren't hyped anymore are just completely quelled in their price when it spiked out of nowhere. And this is used in Spirals. Spirals are abusing this, and it's only going to get stronger in Spirals once we see the next structure deck. We're going to have more extenders through links to help it out, but I definitely think that people are just grabbing this card because they need it in multiples, and that's why its price is staying up. You can't just have one Firewall. You got to have 2 to 3, and a lot of the time you're trying to get to the third Firewall and just go for the game with all the bounce effects and recovery effects that they have. It's just insane to me that this card's second effect is not some kind of once per turn, and you just get to continue to resource your hand over and over and over. It's gonna have its reprint someday, boys. I actually haven't put it lowest on eBay yet, so we should see what it's at on eBay if it's cooled off. And it's that TCGPlayer 5% off that we've been talking about.
Proxies.
Yeah, well, these are the OCG alternate art. That was the fastest alternate art in history, even past Dark Magician and Blue Eyes. 6 days.
Fun fact, at table 20 round 3, there was a player using one of those alternate artwork cards, and a judge was like telling him, "What the hell are you doing?"
Oh no, not like this. So we see a bunch from Japan. Actually, the lowest on eBay is 46, so it actually did cool down a bit on eBay. It seems like that 5% off has really created a lot of sales for TCGPlayer over the weekend. I wish I got to tell you guys at the start of this weekend, but of course, the YCS and hanging out with my buddies definitely took precedent over the online life. But we've been streaming every night, and we might get one more stream in tonight before we drop Simo off at the airport. But maybe not. We'll see, guys. Just press hashtag stream hype down in the comment section below if you actually want to stream tonight. But there you have it. That's probably why TCGPlayer is more expensive across the board on almost everything. But you can actually save money on Evenly Matched if you are picking it up. It's already 20 cents cheaper than eBay, and then you're getting 5% off. But I kind of expect this card to go down to 50 as it is, so you might want to hold off on that. But the hype at Dallas, it was pretty much the realest thing that you could have ever seen in the room. So thanks for watching this Market Watch. Again, hashtag stream hype if you want that stream tonight to happen again. Live stream on Zodiac Duels TV. Thanks for watching, guys, and howdy, y'all.